Okay, first up is Bonnie, and yeah, this is looking pretty good. We don't have a video yet, but you just need to render that. Let's take a look at the Maya file. First, let's try to watch the animation here. Still some pops in this. There's a pop right here. Let's see if we can figure out what that hand there. Let's see if we can figure out what that is. Where's the... Here we go. Okay. I think what you've done is you've translated this control. If I'm not mistaken. I can see those translate changing there, and you really shouldn't be translating this at all. So I think I feel like I showed this before. You shouldn't be translating the FK wrist. But I'll just zero these out and then double click, delete all the keyframe. Why is that not zeroed out? Okay. Yeah, and if you're gonna, you should have some rotation animation on there though. So I might. Oh, I think I. Actually, let me undo that because I think I animated. I think I just wanted to delete out just these. Yeah, that should be better. Look at your. Oh, this is a little bit of a pop too here. So just get rid of, say, like one of these, like this one. It's still like a bit of an awkward position here, I would say. And maybe you could pose those fingers a little bit more. I would have the hand stay in IK mode to help him get off the couch, personally. So for example, what I would do is, what's the deal with the selections not showing up? It's weird. I don't know. So what I would do is, where do you have this switching to FK is like there. I would keep it in IK. Oh, you have it switching right away, huh? Maybe like, between here and here it can change. So I'm just going to change that to IK there, and then I can gradually go to FK there, and then I'll get rid of these keyframes. And so, yeah. So let's take this, let's see. So I sort of like how it's sliding in here to kind of give them some leverage to stand up, but then I would keep it like that, as long as you can. Let's say maybe to here. I just middle mouse click there to keep it in the same position but change the time. So he slides it inwards, and then why is that rotating? Let me just make sure. Set a keyframe there. What is making that rotate? Let me just try that again. Here, middle mouse click S. Oh, there's just some slight finger movement, but might put another middle mouse click here and just have it stick longer. So it kind of pushes a little bit there, and then maybe, maybe here he could, let's go to bend this a lot further. For example, tilt this head up some though. And then we got room to get this hand on his knee. Get this curled down like that. Okay. And then just middle mouse click here for that. And this. Maybe a little longer. And this as well. I just middle mouse click to hold it still. I think we gotta leave a little earlier. Okay, yeah. Actually, let's get rid of that because he has to lift it up sooner. But, and then where's my elbow thingy? Might need to tilt this back a bit and then tilt this one forward to get that to work. And let's get this out of the way pretty quick. Don't like that head so far down. So he pushes the back off the back, and then he sets it on his knee. You can probably get that earlier. Maybe just a bit longer. No, that's too long. And then, move this out of the way so it doesn't intersect, obviously. Maybe move those a little earlier. And then by here your FK. So I don't think I did a great job of that, but hopefully you kind of get the concept. I think it needs a little more time where he's kind of pushing himself off there and then pushing off here a little better. Maybe it'd be better if he bent over further, and instead of using his knee because it's so crowded by his belly, he bent over even further and used the edge of the couch to hold on to. Anyway. The other question was regarding this render thing. Oh yeah, was there any other animation thing? Oh yeah, there was this crazy pop with the leg, this situation here. I don't know why. I think you just have way too many keyframes there. I feel like I went over this last time. I'm almost sure I did. So, I mean, you can lift it a little bit, but that would look a little less crazy. And then you had a question about the render. I'm just going to do a render view, and then render snapshot, shot camera. And then I'm going to select this region and render that region. Okay, and you get that weird white thing, and it's not really see-through, and so I'm going to right mouse click, select this face, and then go into the hypershade, and let's clear this view and map current materials, and I believe it's this one. And I think I figured out the issue was the refraction, the index of refraction. So let's see what happens when we turn that all the way down. And let's render region again. So that was it. Oh, so I got the outside when I did the index of refraction is 0 and the color of the specular to 0. So you could play with, you know, putting a little bit of that back and seeing if we can see any of that outdoor. Nope. Maybe some tiny bit. Oh yeah, it's just super bright out there. I think maybe you want to decrease the light outside or something too. But anyways, it is showing up. So you can play with those a little bit. But I think the main thing might be color. Anyways, just play with those and see what results you get. Okay, this is Alec. So you've got the Arnold burn-in thing, and to avoid that, in Maya, instead of doing batch render, you're going to want to do render sequence, and that will not produce the Arnold burn-in on your scene. Yeah, it is a bit grainy, so yeah, that's the sample settings that you'll want to just higher. There's still something kind of fast motion-y about that walk that's a little weird. And there's a little pop on its hand there that you could fix. So try to get rid of that pop on the hand in the animation, up the samples, and do render sequence. And I think it's just I think maybe slow down that walk a touch. I don't know if we sped it up from the last time and now it's too fast. So maybe it's somewhere between, I can't remember. But yeah, those are the things that jump out. But otherwise, this is looking really good. Okay, this is Shauna. There's no render, so we'll just look at the Maya file. Alright, got him walking, okay. Yeah, sitting down alright. So it looks like that left arm's swinging a lot more than the right one. You don't have to have them the same, but it looks a little weird. I might kind of add a little bit of swing to the right arm on that. But aside from that, let's deal with the, I guess this is the point of view. Let's see what lights we've got in here, because you're not getting any. So you've got an area light, a light lamp, and it's hallway light. The area light is intensity 1000. And let's see where that is. Okay, it's over here. And let's take a look at, I guess, was it, oh no, not ref camera, sorry, camera 1. Alright, and I'm going to do render view and render snapshot, camera 1. And let's just do render the whole thing. We'll do a test resolution of 20, it's just 10%, just to see if the scene's lighting. And I'll render the whole scene, but it'll be just a little thumbnail size, converting those textures. Okay. Okay, well, it is lit, isn't it? You said you were getting a black scene. So I'm not sure what the deal was with that, but it is lighting. If you want more, you know, maybe this is 1000. Maybe we'll go to 2000 for that area light. See if we like that. That's a little brighter. And then had the light lamp. That was at 7. Let's try, I don't know, 500 for that. way too much. 250. Don't think. Still seems a bit bright. Whoops. Yeah, maybe something like that. And then the hallway light, so just something very low. Let's start with 1,000. Yeah, maybe too much. How about 500? Oops. 500, enter. A little better. Something like that. So I can't say why you were getting black in your render. I would make sure you're rendering from the correct camera, because it could be possible, when you do your render, make sure you're selecting the appropriate camera, because maybe you're pointing a camera that was looking off into nothing or something. Apart from that, we can try a bigger one. It just will take, it's going to take a while, especially at full HD. I don't know if we're going to want to wait for this. In fact, let's not. Oh, well, it was coming. Oh, I didn't do the right camera. Render camera 1, and oh yeah, this will be full size. Yeah, this is. I don't want to make you guys watch this, but I'm just gonna stop it. How about we do a half size test resolution of 50%, which is what you're probably going to want to do your final render of something like 960 by 540 anyways, but just because the render times for full HD are going to be quite likely ridiculous. Oh, it's not too bad of a render time, really. But you're getting the idea of the look, and then you can go back in and start playing with sampling to get rid of some of the grain. So what I would do then is just keep this image once it finishes, keep, and then let's look at our render settings, and let's just try, I don't know, 5. This is kind of a lazy approach, but, and then we can just, let's just grab a little area like that and render just that little area, and we can then compare by, by dragging this, so you can see how much of the grain that's getting rid of by upping the camera samples. So hope that was helpful, but yeah, get that rendered. Okay, this is Jersey. Okay, yeah, the render is looking pretty clean. I went over the animation in the last one, and I don't know if it's changed that much. I talked about having him brace his hand against the wall to get himself up, and moving the foot back and some of those things. I don't know if you did any of that. Maybe you did a little bit. I don't know. I guess maybe it's a little better. Could still use some work there. I think maybe a few breakdown poses too. And there's a couple points that felt a little slow motion-y that could be sped up. like there, and I think right after he like this, like he jumps, and then I guess that's all right. I don't know. A few more breakdown poses would be good too. Just because he moves everything in such straight lines, if you put a breakdown pose to get some arcs on there, that would be good. Feet are slipping a little bit there. You could try to lock those down better. The big thing I'm wondering about is that render. This does not look like an Arnold render. Just looking at this, I'm guessing what you did was a hardware render. So for this assignment, yeah, when I compare this to this, it sure looks like that's what you've done. So let's compare that to what an Arnold render would look like. And let's just, okay, this might take a few minutes, but maybe I'll do it smaller. 25%. So yeah, I can tell right away that you didn't do an Arnold render. So the assignment was to do an Arnold render, but you did another hardware render. So I think to really complete this assignment, you need to do an Arnold render and get all the lighting right in there and all that stuff. So why don't you do an Arnold render, fix up the lighting for Arnold and any of the textures that you need to, and then resubmit. Hey, this is Elena. All right. I don't know if you're watching the other critiques, because one of the things I talked about was the issues with the camera settings, where it's kind of moving away from him, and I said you should cut to a different shot of him. So hopefully you're watching these. If not, I don't know why you didn't change it or respond. Also, this is sort of floating off the ground, so you're going to want to make sure that's set more correctly on the ground, and maybe get the brick texture set up correctly. Maybe get a bump map on there. It's a little weird to have the window frames and have the brick going across it, so you might want to cut some windows in there. But you did get the Arnold render done, so that's good. Another thing I mentioned in a previous critique was that you need to organize your scenes. So you need to have all of your files in a Maya project folder. I've already gone over this before, and it's also mentioned in the modules, and you should have it by, we're almost in the last module, you should be working in a Maya project. So, I think I've gone over this with you before, but maybe you're not watching this critique because it doesn't seem like you are. But you go to the project window, you make a new project, you put the project where you want it, give it a name, you have all these subfolders, your scene files go in the scenes directory, your source images go in the source images directory, and then before you open it, you set the project. So honestly, if there was a single thing I wanted you to learn from this class, it would be to work inside of a project directory. These bricks could be better. I mean, if we go into the Hypershade and show that, I might just increase the that's the bump. That's a little tricky. I would just not have a UV repeat on it. That makes things a little more difficult. So normally, yeah, you would get this place 2D texture. I wonder if it'll give me. I can plug this into here as well. Yeah, that seems to work. That doesn't, but let's see if I increase the UV repeat here, if it'll do it on the color. Yeah, it seems to have done that, now that that's plugged in. Maybe, I don't know, 4x4. Let's see what it looks like in the scene now. It's hard to know which camera. A bit bright, but take a look at that brick now. It's a lot more scaled to the size of, you know, a human, for example. And let's take a look at what's going on with this ground. So yeah, you can see that huge gap there between this ground plane and the sidewalks. So, you know, just move that up. And I already went over the camera in a previous critique, so I'd appreciate if you watch the other critiques and fix your camera based on that. All right.